I went to see Frank Stanton at CBS, who's a great hero, of course, for doing all these great things, but Frank Stanton ran the Blacklist at CBS. And I went to his office and I asked him if we, do the interview, and well, of course, I'd love to be interviewed. Well, I sat down and I said, let's talk about the Blacklist. And his face turned purple. And he started yelling at me, you do what I do and I was keeping all these people in business. I'm keeping them all alive. What would you have done? And I said, I wouldn't have done what you did. You're the great pollster. Did you ever check out the threat that Lawrence Johnson made? Would he have had an impact? Did you ever think to look into that? No, he didn't. And years later, he got a Civil Liberties Award. And I wrote to the New York Times and I said, this is the guy who ran the Blacklist. Do you really want to give him a lifetime Civil Liberties Award? So they asked me to write a story for the Arts and Leisure section of the Times about it. And I talked to him again, and the head of public television in New York begged me not to see him, and stood in front of, I met Stanton at the Grand Central Station, and he came up the road with the head of public television, a public television guy pulled me aside and said, don't do the interview. You're gonna put him in the hospital. And he's an old guy, why are you doing this? This is cruel. And I talked to people who lost their careers from the Blacklist. One guy was talking to me through an oxygen mask. His whole life was ruined by Frank Stanton. So I remembered that, and I said, no, I'm going to do this. And so we went in, and this time he talked to me, and he didn't yell at me. He explained to me what he was thinking. He was trying to charm me this time. And I wrote the story, and of course, all these letters saying what a vicious, cruel guy I was for doing this to an old man who was a great hero. But whilst Frank Stanton did all kinds of tremendous things for CBS, he also ran the Blacklist and ruined a lot of people's lives, and I thought that was pretty important. And supposedly he went into the hospital that day, which didn't gratify me any, but it was a story about television that needed to be told.